We're going to talk about how to become someone's priority. And we're going to be using a few different perspectives. We're going to talk about it from Robert Greene's perspective, Machiavelli's perspective, Sun Tzu's perspective, my perspective, and Friedrich Nietzsche's perspective. And essentially, the most important thing I have to help you guys understand is that to become somebody's priority has to be everything has to be aligned, right? One, they have to have the mental clarity to prioritize you, right? Because there's a lot of things that are important in our lives, we just don't recognize it, and there's nothing that those things could do to help us recognize the reality. Two, they have to genuinely have some form of chemistry with you, and this is the mysterious part. This is where it's biological and you can't really do nothing about it. They either have it in them to prioritize you or they don't. In other words, they either have the ability to love you or they don't. It's very similar to liking certain foods. Yes, some foods are acquired, but then some taste in food is also genetic. You are genetically wired to like certain foods more than other. There's a reason why you like pizza more than burgers. Why? I don't fucking know. It's just in you, right? Sometimes you like people more than other people, right? And there's nothing you could do to change that. You could like them more. They could do things to make you prioritize them a little bit more, but it's only temporary, right? So we're gonna talk about how to accept that reality, and how to counter that reality. Sometimes what you could do to increase the person's priority, and what do you do to cause people to not prioritize you, essentially. Okay, so let's watch this video. And if you're dating people and you have people in your life or your job and they don't prioritize you, and you want to learn how to apply these strategies without going straight to hell, you guys can just book a one-on-one coaching call with me and have access to me today, and I could show you exactly what to do to make somebody prioritize you without going to prison. Okay, because there are things that you do in your life that can cause somebody who really prioritizes you to just not prioritize you. It's just that simple, right? And let's talk about it. Well, first of all, this is my perspective on this. First, essentially, if somebody is if it's the things that take most priority are the things that causes pain. There's something in your brain called the reticular activating system. That part of the brain is what allows you to know and allows you to detect what's a threat and what can provide value. And the brain and the body reacts with more energy, with more adrenaline. It has more of a physiological response when there's a threat. And in this case, the threat is the threat of your ego, the threat of your happiness, the threat of your future, the threat of achieving what you want, right? And a lot of the times when we have people in our lives, the ones that produce more pain, especially if we love them, are the ones that we prioritize the most. The ones that we have a problem with or that have some problems or some drama are the ones that take up most of our brain. The thing is that when we love people, whenever you're genuinely in love, there is a certain fear that you have of losing them. They may not do nothing to cause that, but because you value them so much, you're afraid. It's almost like having $1 million in your pocket and walking down the street. You're gonna be a little bit extra. You're gonna be a little bit more suspicious, even though you know nobody knows you have that money. Just because you know, you're gonna be a little bit more scared because you value the thing so much that it creates fear. It's very similar to that right now, where you value this person so much that there is fear of losing them, right? And that is a genetic thing. That is something that you feel inside of you. You feel a chemistry, and you're so addicted to them that you fear losing them. And so some people become super jealous, super possessive, and toxic. But some people just fear your loss, and they become extra romantic, extra needy. Now, there are some ways that you guys can provoke this, right? Some ways you guys can provoke this is by literally causing pain, right? Right? And this is something that honestly, there's two ways to cause pain. There's toxic ways to cause pain, which eventually they're gonna get revenge on you. And then there are natural ways to cause pain, which is through conflict, right? Whenever you are in conflict with someone, you'll notice that they take up a lot of your mind. You think of them a lot. So you have problems that you deal with this person and you try to solve it. Like conflict resolution makes you a priority, right? But then some people do is that they'll break up with you as a way to get a priority, right? Or some people act the victim, right? Where they exaggerate a problem in their lives to get you to emotionally get hooked. They play weak. They play up and exaggerate their vulnerability. And if you're somebody that has compassion, you're gonna fall for that. But I recommend using natural conflict, natural problems that you have and that they have, and that you are trying to resolve. Trying to resolve those conflict without going freaking Bronx mode on them will literally make you a priority. Like, it's because you gotta understand whatever is a threat to you just becomes a priority. It's just that simple. And if you love someone and they have a problem with you and they express it, trying to solve it creates the type of conflict, the type of pain, the type of stress that puts you on top of their minds. And the beauty about it is that people are not perfect, so they're gonna make mistakes. So you're gonna have a lot of opportunities to apply these strategies. So let's talk about this, right? Machiavelli essentially says this. He emphasizes what makes Machiavelli's perspective is a little different than all the other ones, because he emphasizes understanding human nature. All right. He emphasizes on creating dependency on you, and he emphasizes balancing respect and affection. So how do you do it? Well, first of all, you balance fear and love. He's a famous one that says, "I'd rather be feared than loved." Right? Now, the best combination is to be loved and feared at the same time. Okay. So the way you do this is that be someone who is respected and slightly feared, while also showing genuine care and affection. And the way you balance that, people, it's not hard. Honestly, it really is not hard. Life presents you a lot of opportunities to do this. All you have to do is not be afraid to whoop that kid's ass if they mess up. In other words, we're not saying to hit your kids, right? It's not the 90s. We're not in Puerto Rico no more, right? But we're saying that to be willing to use that chancleta on that malcriado, to be willing to whoop that ass, to be willing to confront when they're fucking up, to show them that you have another side to you. You always just happy. Now they fucked up. Now you're like this. In fact, now your voice is a little bit down. Now they're seeing another part to your personality. Now they're hoping that they can see your happy, jolly side. But because you fucked up so much, you may not see that again. And seeing another side to people kind of jolts them up inside. It wakes them up because they're like, what the fuck? Like, this person is, I never seen this side in this person. And that creates fear. And then once you resolve the problem, now you go back to normal. Now they think you're kind of a little bit of a psycho. They know that there's a dark part in you that comes out when they fuck up. They know that. And it's important to not hide that part, right? So that's one thing. So you got to balance. And another thing is that you balance your praise and your punishment. In other words, you don't overly validate people. You make people earn your warmth. You make people earn your respect. You make people earn your compliments. So you rarely validate and you rarely punish. In other words, you don't always give this person freaking gifts all the time. You're not always doing something special for them. People get acclimated to that and people take it for granted. Even though what you might be doing is good, the good deeds you're doing, going above and beyond, there's nothing, you could do it sometimes, but not all the time, because it's like sugar. Too much sugar, you create cavities, and the cavities is them taking you for granted, right? But you don't always punish them. You don't always create conflict, because that could be too exhausting. That could be too problematic. They might get annoyed and they might get tired of you. So you got to balance it, where you're not always on their ass, always trying to get their attention, always trying to be on top of them, always complimenting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can sense that needy, I'm always trying to impress you energy. But at the same time, you're not going to be freaking Terminators all the time and be cold. You got to balance that. And that's where Friedrich Nietzsche's advice comes into place. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but that's what I'm talking about. Balance fear and love. So you set healthy boundaries. Okay, you set boundaries. You make sure you have those boundaries. And you make sure that you're willing to walk away and you make sure you're willing to punish them if they fuck up. So that means if they messed up and they really fucked up, you leave them. And if they want to get back to you, you first of all, if they want to get back to you, you do not take them back that easily. I swear to God, if you take them back, do not tell people you watch my channel. Don't pull a Frida, okay? Don't pull a Frida. By the way, I'm selling my art. I have original art that I sell, and my paintings like these all start at $1,000. If you guys ever want to purchase my art, if you want a commission, my paintings start at $1,000. And if anybody says my paintings are too expensive, I'm gonna block you. I swear to God, I will block you. I will block you from my channel if you say that's your art is too expensive. I will block you. I'm not even kidding with you. Like, I'll take criticism about my videos. You're not gonna tell me what to price my painting. So anyone who comments that, just realize you're gonna get blocked from the channel. Oh my fucking God, Alex is sensitive. Yeah, I'm very sensitive about my art, especially about my art prices. Too many people try to lowball you. Too many people try to like diminish how valuable your art is, and nothing is more infuriating for me is when somebody tells me that my art is not worth that. It's like, do you know how many people can paint this in pastels in this style? Nobody. Like, find somebody. I'm not even going there, man. Anyways, let's continue, man. So that's one thing. Have healthy boundaries, like I did right now, right? Right? Yeah, exactly. That's an example of that, right? I'm a happy guy, but then you saw that there's a part of me that will not tolerate it. I will go full dictator mode on that shit. Next one. And by the way, if you guys want to purchase my paintings, just comment down below or just find me on Instagram, and then you'll be able to do that. Like I said, my paintings start at $1,000, and if anybody has a custom painting they want me to make, let me know. I can work it out. Any collectors who want to have me as a painter to help me to paint something in your studio, or you know someone who needs art from a minority, you can just let me know, okay? Next one is Robert Greene's perspective on making people prioritize you, okay? Is the master the art of timing. Master the art of timing. Know when to step forward and know when to withdraw to keep the other person for wanting more, right? And the reason why is because if there's anything that you could do without changing what you say or do that will literally make people prioritize you, is this. If I could let you act your needy, creepy-zoid self, and you just give me control of one thing in you, one thing, meaning I could control what you say, I could control where you go. If there's one thing I could control, is your presence and your absence. Give me control of that. They're gonna prioritize you. They're gonna prioritize you. And the reason why, too much presence, in anything, like, come on, man, let's just be honest. Too much presence makes people get acclimated to you. There's no fear and there's no dopamine. Meaning when you hang around someone so long, you stop having those fear or dopamine type of responses. You get an acclimation of it. Don't get me wrong. You get the oxytocin, you feel that. But those emotions that wake you up, that makes you prioritize the person, because somebody could completely love you 100% and not prioritize you. That's completely different. Because the priority is the fear. And if you just control that, especially when they fuck up, you're gonna have power. They're gonna prioritize you. Actually, let's listen to, I think, is it in the 48 Laws of Power, right? Yeah. This is what it says, right? Because it's actually a very good chapter. Master. Always say less necessary. Get all went through your actions. Select the honesty and answer for how. Crush your enemy. Okay. Too much circulation makes the price go down. The more you are seen and heard, the more common you appear. If you are established in the group, temporary withdrawal from it will make you more talked about, even more admired. You must learn when to leave. Create value through scarcity. You don't create value through talking your ass off. You don't create value through crying and moaning. You create value through absence. Robert says, everything in the world depends on absence and presence. A strong presence will draw power and attention to you. You shine more brightly than those around you. But at a point is inevitably reached where too much presence creates the opposite effect. The more you are seen and heard from, the more your value degrades. You become a habit, no matter how hard you try to be different, subtly, without your knowing why. People respect you less and less. At the right moment, you must learn to withdraw yourself before they unconsciously push you away. It is a game of hide and seek. The truth is, this law can most easily be appreciated in matters of love and seduction. In the beginning stages of an affair, the lover's absence stimulates your imagination, forming a sort of aura around him or her or they. But this aura fades when you know too much, when your imagination no longer has room to roam. The loved one becomes a person like anyone else, a person whose presence is taken for granted. This is why the 17th century courtesan Ninon de la Clos advised constant feints at withdrawals from one's lover. Love never dies of starvation, she wrote, but dies of indigestion. The moment you allow yourself to be treated like anyone else, it is too late. You are swallowed and digested. To prevent this, you need to starve the other persons of your presence. Force their respect by threatening them with the possibility that they will lose you for good. Create a pattern of absence and presence. And this is the power of that, people, right? And a lot of people don't do this for the simple fact that they're not good at controlling their emotions. It really comes down to being able to control your emotions. So that's one thing. How to become a priority? Just use absence and presence. Now, Sun Tzu believed that in order to become somebody's priority, you have to know who they are, have to know their psychology. And the reason why it's this, okay? Essentially, Sun Tzu was in his books, he emphasized strategy, adaptability, and understanding one's environment in order to win a battle. And the most important thing he believed is knowing the person. Knowing the person. Understanding their desires, their fears, and motivations. And what most people do, what their mistake that people do, is that when they try to get somebody to prioritize them, they're not aware of the person's psychology. They're not aware that maybe they're not meant to be in a relationship. Maybe they're not meant to prioritize someone. Maybe they're too selfish to prioritize. Maybe they have too many personal demons to prioritize. And rather than accept that, people go in and try to change them. If you were actually being aware of some people, you would not even entertain them. You would not even try to get them to prioritize them. Because if you really understood human nature, you would understand this. That you don't need to do a lot of flips, spinneroonies, and backflips, and monkey double backflips to get somebody to prioritize you. What you understand about human nature, if you actually observe, is that if somebody likes you from the start, they're going to prioritize you. Now, you most likely, if they're not prioritizing you right now, if they started off with a priority, is that you did something to push them away. You did something, and most likely you were too present, and most likely you took too much bullshit without fighting back, without biting back. People cannot respect people who are not a threat. People cannot respect people who can't fight back. People who cannot respect people who cannot defend themselves. They look down on them, even if that's human nature. So what you have to do is whenever you see someone, and from the beginning there's effort. From the beginning, you have to try to get them to prioritize you. Do not entertain them. Walk the fuck away. If you walk away genuinely, that is the best strategy. Why? One, you're accepting things as they are. If they're not showing anything, you adapt. That's one of the things about Sun Tzu. Is that Sun Tzu speaks about being flexible and adjust your strategies based on the changing circumstance, and most importantly, based on the person. Do not fight the last war. You do not try to change people, because Sun Tzu believed a lot in winning without conflict, winning without bloodshed. Do not try to change them. Don't take them to that psychologist. Don't nag them. If they're not prioritizing you, the worst thing you could do is try to fix it. You walk the fuck out. You speak through your actions, and your actions will communicate with more power and force what they should do, right? He believed in like, I don't think Sun Tzu ever talked about, would ever tell someone, to complain, to try to change him. He doesn't believe in changing. He believes in observing the changing circumstance and changing himself rather than the circumstance. Now, the next one is Friedrich Nietzsche believes, like, he's a philosopher, known for his existential and often provocative ideas, okay? And the thing with him is that he focused mostly on being authentic, strength, and the willpower, okay? And he believed that you have to embody your true self. In other words, be authentic and true to your values. If the person don't want you, if the person doesn't prioritize you and you have standards, don't go below those standards just for them. Do not break your own rules. Oh, most importantly, don't break my rules just to get someone to prioritize you. Don't stay there if they're not prioritizing you. Get the fuck out. Leave. Because that's not being authentic. You start breaking your own rules. You start double texting, triple texting. You start begging without even knowing it. You realize you're doing something you never thought you'd do before. And this comes, what Friedrich Nietzsche talks about, is cultivating and exerting your will to power, cultivating strength, being willing to sit down and say, this person is not prioritizing me. I am not going to over pursue them. This person is not showing me the interest that I want. I am not going to over pursue them. I am not going to change. I am going to, even though every fiber of my being is telling me to be Mr. Needy Creepazoid, to text, double text, stalk, like some people would, you're going to exert will to power. You're going to demonstrate your ability to influence yourself, which is a sign that you're able to influence others. And you're going to garner first admiration from yourself because you finally develop self-control. And the other person can sense when you have that self-control. In fact, some people get offended that you're not over chasing. Some people get offended that you're not being needy. And they might end up chasing you because of that. It's just that simple. But above all, what Nietzsche says is act decisively. If you're going to walk away, walk away. If you're gonna if you're gonna leave, leave. Don't look back. People don't respect that. Okay? So remember, what Nietzsche believes is have your values. Know yourself. Know what you're willing and what you're not willing to accept. And the way you find out is look back in your life. What were the things that people did to you that were not acceptable in hindsight? And from now on, promise yourself to hold that as a value, hold that as a boundaries, and never break those boundaries no matter who you're talking about. Even if you really like this person, sacrifice them in the altar of wisdom. Sacrifice them and understand that losing this person is a sign that I'm developing the wisdom that I need. And what happens is that when people can sense your boundaries, when people can sense your strength, when people can sense your values that you hold near and dear, they respect that. They really do. And even though they know you might be super needy for them, the fact that you're walking away makes them respect you. I've dated women who I'm like, this is not a good relationship for them. And they walked away from me and I'm like, I respect that. I really respect that, And you may not get them. They may not, be with you forever, but at least they respect you. And honestly, look, dude, like you may, like sometimes all you need is respect from people, like all you need is to know that you did the right thing because, something happens to the human soul when you're not living true to yourself, when you're being a freaking hypocrite, when you complain about your friends getting played, but you're getting played. That does affect you mentally. You sort of lose respect for yourself. When I first started doing those 10-day silent retreat, I did retreats before, but shorter, or I did it with myself. But the silent retreats were different. And I remember wanting to quit. But I said to myself, man, I talk about being strong, having willpower, and here I am going to quit. I can't do that. So I stayed for my subscribers so that they don't think I'm a quitter. Right? I did that because I wanted to be true to myself. I preach a message of being strong. Why the fuck am I quitting? Those things matter. Like, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. And if you're allowing yourself to be with someone who doesn't prioritize you, look at yourself in the mirror, okay? How about that? So a lot of you guys have been asking me, how can I purchase all of your courses in one go? Well, if you guys want to purchase all of them, you guys can join the Mindful Attraction University, people. Yeah, that's right. And in this, you'll be able to access all of my courses for $3.99. Initially, if you purchase all of my courses, Emotional Mastery, Psychological Game of Attraction, my new course, The Feminine Woman, Natural Chemistry, Charisma Blueprint, Nice Girl, you guys can purchase all of it for $600, but with the bundle deal, you guys can purchase it for $3.99. Or you guys can purchase it in 3 easy payments of $125, people. Yeah, that's right. Or you guys can purchase it with the bonuses. So you not only do you get the courses, but the bonuses. And that comes down to $7.99 or 4 easy and mindful payments of $1.99. Now, these bonuses are not regular bonuses. These bonuses are legit, almost like courses within a course, right? So you guys can just click on the description down below and explore the types of bonuses. For example, I have bonuses on how to get over your ex, how to become more creative, how to, especially in the feminine woman, I have a bonus about how to penetrate the mind and how to speak in a way that gets people to do what you want them to do. Like, it's honestly one of the craziest sections that I've ever made, because most of these courses, people, I come up with those ideas in meditation retreats. Nobody goes to the extent that I go. I go to meditation retreats to create these courses. There's a 14-day money back guarantee. If you don't like it, just ask me for the money back within 14 days, and I'll give you all the money back. Father Alex has never rejected a money back offer if I offered it. So, and if you guys already purchased one of my courses, for example, and you guys want to get the bonuses while getting a discount, you know what I'm saying? I have discount codes for people who purchase my courses. So if you purchase my courses, just send me a private message. Or if you work with me one-on-one, I'll give you a big discount for the courses. And there I can help all of you guys understand that this is a movement. Most people never knew this type of knowledge before. And I am trying to empower women across the world and liberate them from these negative and one-sided relationships through these courses. So hopefully you guys can spread the message and help other people out. And I'll see you guys inside. Or else I'm close to the